spices. There's a beautiful, my dog is puking right now. Are you serious? You want outside? Come on. You gotta go out. You are not throwing up on my carpet. Go out. I don't need no rug chug. Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Moody Boo and I am back with another comparison video. And this is on two perfumes that have been compared on Fragrantica. So I thought I'd just go ahead and do an in-person one. Or, you know, a recorded one or whatever. This is Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille against Noble Royale's Tobacco Dynasty. So I was going to do a battle, but I usually do 3 in those. And these two, I really wanted to focus on a comparison for them specifically. So I will say on Fragrantica, people adore this. And I know on YouTube and other forums that Tobacco Vanille is almost deified in Fragcom. There's some perfumes that are. They just are. And this is one of them. I should do a top 5 deified fragrances video. There I go again. Anyway, because, you know, like Aventus is one, Musgrave is another. Anyway, anytime you compare a perfume to one of these perfume gods, you are going to get a lot of backlash. And people are going to be like, how dare you compare it to Tobacco Vanille? How dare you think it's better or as good? And it's like, yeah, we need some new templates, folks. That's all I'm saying. Need some new templates. Even though this is a great one. Don't get me wrong, I love Tobacco Vanille. Absolutely adore it. I've got Tobacco and Vanille on this hand and Tobacco Dynasty on this one. And Tobacco Vanille deserves the hype. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful, sweet, almost earthy kind of almost gourmandy tobacco. Tobacco Dynasty to me is different. There are stages of these two perfumes that come across very similar, but they part ways. They kind of do a woman's body outline, because they kind of come together, then they go out, then they kind of come together, and then they go out again. I think when I first spray either one of these, that is the top notes, and that first 15-20 minutes is when they are their most similar, in my opinion. But then they kind of go and separate, and then they kind of get similar again in the mid notes, at the end of the mid notes before the deep dry down, and then the deep dry down they separate again. They have similarities because they're sweet, spicy tobaccos. Both of them are, now Tom Ford's is much more gourmand than Tobacco Dynasty. But I find Tobacco Dynasty is much more versatile. I think you can wear it to many, many more occasions than you can Tobacco Vanille. Tobacco Vanille is very in your face, intense, beastly, nose rocket kind of a perfume. I usually do 1 spray of this, and that's why I still have my original bottle. I did go through a decanter too, though. Tom Ford's, it performs like, you know, crazy. I usually get 8 to 10 hours out of this. It projects like crazy. That's why I do 1 spray. It leaves a great sillage. I've walked back into my own sillage many times. But Tobacco Dynasty is more subtle, and it has, to me, more dimensions. Tom Ford's, okay, before I go any farther, let me tell you the notes on both. So Tobacco Vanille, is, according to Fragrantica, is tobacco, vanilla, dried fruit, spicy notes, cocoa, tonka, looks like a little bit of floral, and some wood notes. I find it to be really a gourmand, spicy, earthy tobacco kind of a smell. It is very, very much a gourmand tobacco to me. So Tobacco Dynasty is clove, vanilla, tobacco, cinnamon, star anise, ginger, cardamom, benzoin, heliotrope, musk, rose, broom, and cedar. This to me is a spicy, sweet, spicy tobacco. It is not as gourmand of a tobacco as Tom Ford, but it still flirts with it. It drops a couple pickup lines on it, but it never quite hooks up. So because I think of the spicy notes and the tobacco, it reminds me of walking into a tobacco store. Back when I used to smoke cigarettes, and as a teenager I smoked clove cigarettes. This reminds me a little bit of a clove cigarette because it was definitely clove, but it almost had some cinnamon and some other spices, and it was sweet. And the tobacco was an Indonesian tobacco, I believe. And I just loved clove cigarettes and the way they smell. This has a hint of that. But because of all of the other notes, it never quite gets to the clove cigarette stage. It reels it in. It flirts with that gourmand territory. It flirts with the clove cigarette territory. It flirts with spicy territory. Now, I will say that Tobacco Dynasty does not perform as well as Tobacco Vanille. No. But Tobacco Vanille is beast, you know. Tobacco Dynasty is more like, you know, David, and Tobacco Vanille is Goliath. So David can kick some ass when needed, but Goliath is still the beast. Know what I mean? So price-wise, Tobacco Dynasty kicks ass. Tom Ford for a 50 ml at normal retail place is usually, I want to say, $200, $220, something like that. Whereas for a 100 ml bottle, Tobacco Dynasty, it was under 200. I want to say it was 175-ish, something like that. Between 150 and 200, somewhere in there. Now, is Tobacco Vanille a staple that every collector should have in their collection? Absolutely. But I don't grab it very often. It's not one my husband loves. It's one I love for a short period of time, but I get really sick of it. It's like eating something super rich and decadent and sweet. A lot of times I can only take a few bites and then I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Please take it away. I can't eat anymore. And that's kind of the way Tobacco Vanille is for me. It almost gives me a toothache after a while, and I'm just like, I'm over it. And then I won't grab it again for a long time. Now, when I wear it, I have gotten compliments on it, I have to tell you. I've gotten complimented quite a bit on this in the winter time. I don't wear it in the summertime. So, but I haven't had this very long. I've only had this Tobacco Dynasty maybe 3-4 weeks. 5 weeks, I don't know, somewhere in there, month, something. And this I've had for years. So, you know, it's had a lot more opportunity to garner compliments and get them a lot more time than Tobacco Dynasty has. So Tobacco Vanille is not as versatile as Tobacco Dynasty. Tobacco Vanille blooms in the heat. And it becomes cloying. Now, it doesn't even need the heat in order to bloom. A small enclosed space, poor ventilation, and wherever you're at, this stuff can bloom. It can just decide it's a jellyfish and just go, and now there's a million of them. I think this is so much more versatile. You could wear this year round. You could wear it day or night. Day, I would think more formal occasions, work occasions or whatever. But nighttime, any occasion, whether it be formal, frisky, fun, any of the F's. Whereas this one, this is more just for going out and having a good time, making a statement kind of thing. It might be good for, rendezvous with your significant other if they're into the perfume, absolutely. But it doesn't do it for my husband. He likes it, but he doesn't love it. He saves the love for some of my other perfumes that have more cinnamon in them. Cinnamon in them. Boy, that's hard to say. Cinnamon in them. Cinnamon in them. Cinnamon in them. Sorry, I get stuck in a loop. Bing. I prefer Tobacco Dynasty over Tobacco Vanille. I have been wearing this so much. I wear it on my snuggly clothes when I get home. I've worn it to work. I've worn it when my hunky stud muffin and I have gone out to do things by ourselves because you can't do anything with anybody else. And it's a desert island perfume right here. I just adore it. And it smells as good on the skin as it does on my clothes. So there's not any big changes. It doesn't have any heavy reactions to my oils and proteins and acids and things. It just works its magic. And I tell you, and it's got great sillage. I put on my snuggly clothes and I'll have it on there or something. And I go to sit down and I'll go down right through my own sillage and I'm like, oh man, that is fabulous. Yep, it's my favorite over Tobacco Vanille. And I know this won't be a popular review because I know how much people, like I said, deify Tobacco Vanille. But I got tired of it. I really did. I rarely reach for it, maybe twice a year. This one, I'll do twice a week. They're both super unisex, too. I already said that. So, again, stuck in a loop. Bing! All right, well, I just wanted to do a quickie, not so quickie, comparison of Tobacco Dynasty and Tobacco Vanille. And this is my preference, and this is my desert island perfume, not this one. Thanks so much for being here, and don't forget to like and subscribe and ding 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 that bell. If you won't, if you don't, it's all good. I still love you. Use your own nose. Peace. God, I keep getting weirder. Stop. Stop. Oh.